Have you ever been in a social situation, watching others thrive and have many friends? While you stumble and are full of doubts, why is there such a big difference in the way they speak? Whenever young people are about to enter society. Hello everyone, welcome to the Strategy Wisdom Growth Club, a channel dedicated to cracking the truth about emotions and human nature. Remember to like, subscribe and turn on the bell so that you won't miss my new videos. There will always be enthusiastic old drivers in the workplace who advise them to be tactful and have the secret of speaking to people in a human way and speaking to ghosts in a ghost way. But if you dig deeper, what exactly is considered speaking to people in a human way? Most people often don't follow up on this. More than 2,000 years ago, China's Guiguzi, a legendary figure of the strategist, relied on his clever mouth to maneuver in troubled times. In order to carve out a place for himself with his eloquence, he delved deeply into the art of speaking in communication with people. So, how did Guiguzi classify people according to the characteristics of different people he dealt with and systematically summarized the communication strategies? 1. Smart people. Guiguzi pointed out, therefore, when talking to wise people, rely on breadth. That is to say, when communicating with smart people, you should quote extensively and go around in circles. Don't be simple and direct, so as not to be despised by the other party who finds out the details. Smart people are experienced and have strong insight. They are not only confident but also a little conceited. Therefore, when dealing with them, we must inadvertently fully demonstrate our strength without easily exposing our intentions. We must remember that masters fight, and stop at the right time to avoid talking too much with shallow friends. 2. People with slow reactions. When talking to clumsy people, we should rely on debate. Guiguzi pointed out that when talking to people who are slow to react and whose minds are not very flexible, we should give full play to our eloquence advantages so that they have no chance to express their opinions, let their thoughts follow us, and convince them with irrefutable arguments and evidence. Because people with slow reactions do not consider problems very thoroughly, if we can communicate with them in coherent and affirmative words, we can have a strong influence on their thinking. 3. People with good eloquence. When talking to debaters, we should rely on the key points. Guiguzi reminds us that when facing a negotiating partner with good eloquence, we must never confront him head-on or engage in a war of words. Instead, we should shrink the front line and be ready to fight, find materials that are really beneficial to us as a basis, and then concentrate our firepower to confront him. 4. People with high social status. When talking to noble people, we should rely on the situation. Guiguzi warned that when facing a powerful negotiating partner, we must remember not to stand in opposition to him, but to stand on the same side as him to analyze the situation he faces and the possible conflicts of interest, and be good at using the power of objective situations to make him gradually agree with our people and views. 5. Rich people. Talk to the rich with lofty words. Guiguzi pointed out that if we want to deal with rich people, we must be good at pretending to be noble and not show envy of the other party's material wealth so that he can't be proud of it. Let him realize that he has a gap with us in the spiritual level, such as social experience or knowledge and information, so as to create a situation where each has its own strengths, so that both sides can communicate equally and get what they need. 6. Poor people. Talk to the poor with benefits. Guiguzi pointed out that the poor are very pragmatic because of their very short material resources, so if we want to win their favor, we can't be very artificial. But we must directly explain the benefits and disadvantages to them and mobilize their enthusiasm through benefits. 7. People with low social status. Talk to the lowly with humility. Guiguzi pointed out that people with low social status have been in a weak position for a long time and have been oppressed by other social groups. Therefore, they are relatively fragile and prone to extreme behavior. Therefore, we only need to adopt a more humble attitude towards them, which will make them flattered and quickly gain their recognition. 8. Brave people. Talk to the brave, rely on courage. Guiguzi pointed out that if we meet courageous people, we should avoid dragging our words and deeds in front of them and show our decisive side, so as to leave a good impression on them. 9. People with faults. Talk to the past, rely on sharpness. Guiguzi pointed out that when facing people who have made mistakes or are in adversity, we should mainly encourage them when communicating with them. Because people in adversity hope most to make a comeback, as long as we can express our support for their deepest wishes, we will surely win their hearts. If you always feel that you are very honest and simple-minded, and don't know how to deal with things cleverly, it's because you know nothing about strategy. Life cannot be without strategy. Welcome to like and subscribe to learn more about strategy wisdom.